I don't want to do this.
What, the review? Don't you have to?
Yes. Well, no. I mean, it could just not, but that'd, well, yes?
That's the biggest non-answer I've ever heard. Look, if you don't want to review the Wolverine movie, don't review the Wolverine movie. It's your show, you know this.
Yeah, I know. I just need to finish things, you know? Otherwise, I just feel like a failure. And besides, it's not like anybody watches any of those non-comic book videos.
Just make a decision, man. And quick. I'm bored.
This is the long-awaited continuation of the X-Men Review Retrospective. Here is our review of Origins Wolverine.
Released in 2009, X-Men Origins Wolverine is the answer to a very important question asked by 20th Century Fox. X-Men 3 made us a lot of money, but people also didn't like it? How can we make even more money while pissing them off a little bit less? And the answer to this was to give Wolverine a solo film. Now bear in mind, this was back when people weren't tired of Wolverine everywhere. And because the film oh so desperately needed to be released before X-Men's popularity fizzled out oh so quickly, Fox decided to force the film into production while the script was being written. Let's just say that you can tell. Are you done reading off the synopsis that you clearly just copied from Wikipedia? What are you gonna do next? Summarize the plot of the movie for us? Dude, it's been 10 years. And the people who watch your channel are fucking nerds. They know what Weapon X is. You don't need to summarize that for them. They don't need to hear that the movie is about Wolverine and Sabretooth as they join up with Williams.
No, that's just the opening act. It's about Wolverine hunting down Sabretooth, who murders his wife, which is actually all designed to get him to join Weapon X.
But while Sabretooth was also gathering mutant DNA for a separate Weapon XX1 project. The point is, this movie's a little bit confused and nonsensical. So maybe a plot summary might not be the best thing to do.
What should I do then? I have to cover the bases, you know this.
What bases? Why? There's no rule of YouTube that says you have to review a movie in the same way everyone else does.
What else am I supposed to do? Stage a conversation with myself? Just because I have no friends to act opposite me? Even that's ripping off another YouTuber. So why bother? Why do you even have to review this movie? Even the idea of a retrospective where you review all the movies in this series is ripped off of other YouTubers. Don't you have any original ideas? What else am I supposed to do? I don't know, man. Go outside, take a walk, meet some friends. Do I look like someone who would go outside and take a walk? Or somebody who would go outside and make friends? Besides, it's not like we can go outside and take a walk anyway. Okay, now that you've summarized the plot, it's time for you to tease your hot take, your controversial opinion that you're going to prove in the rest of the video. So, what is it? It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. Well, now that's something else that you've stolen from another YouTuber. No, really, it's fine. I'm trying to be angry at this movie, but it just confuses me. It's bad, but it's not bad in any particularly interesting or unique way. It's like trying to be angry at a 30-year-old puke stain on your carpet. Yeah, you know it stinks. Yeah, you know it's gross. But it's faded and you've forgotten about it enough to the point where you just can't summon that visceral disgust anymore. You just don't care. It's not that pressing. The fire's gone, and that's what it is with this movie. This sucks. Are you sure you have to make this video? Fuck yes. Stop asking. Since I'm also you, and I've also watched the movie, do you mind if I give my opinion? Since you're doing this. Sure, why not? It is the point in the review where I get the much more interesting and charismatic guests I give their input so I can make them retweet my video on Twitter and get more Spider-Man fans to watch it. So can I talk then? Without you interrupting me. Go ahead. Well, I suppose that if you like comics, this movie is a lot more interesting than it would be for me, honestly. Because it's worse. Because a lot of the changes that this movie made to those comic books, Mute Pool, are not exactly pleasing to the eye of comic book fans. These changes to the source material again and again and over and etc. have angered fans over and over again, and... Where are you going? What are you doing? This is my bit now. Oh, don't mind me. I'm just acting out some dumb metaphor so that I can explain my point more clearly. Just keep going. Fuck you. I'm not gonna keep going if you're just gonna ignore me like that. It might be you, but I have feelings too. Besides, it's not like the guest star gimmick is exactly as successful as it used to be. Well, anyways, I was saying, from the dime store psychoanalysis I've done, you can clearly tell that the filmmakers needed to make some sort of continuation of the franchise, so they had to keep making money, continue the franchise, and... Oh, never mind me, I'm just gonna go watch some Babylon 5 while you... keep going. Go on. Keep making noises with your mouth. I wouldn't do that if I were you. Why? Because it's interrupting your precious metaphor that nobody cares about? No, it's...
No, never mind. As I was saying, X-Men Origins Wolverine was a film nobody really wanted. Well, except for the guy who co-created Game of Thrones. What does he know? They just made it because they needed to make more money and keep the rights from reverting to Marvel. I hear it.
Is this? Run! What the hell is going on? If I knew, I'd tell you. All I know for sure is that, as you can see, we can't exactly go outside. I know I've been here longer than you, but honestly, I'm surprised that it's taken you this long to start wondering what it's all about. Hey, fuck you too, man. If you hadn't been here distracting me with all that Wolverine shit, then I'd be way ahead of the curve. We haven't got time for this. That little stunt with the TV set us way back. You interrupted the goddamn train of thought. Who cares about your fucking train of thought in your goddamn Wolverine review? We have bigger threats to deal with than a little bit of boredom. You just don't get it, do you? Him, the review, it's all connected. This should give us some time. Look, I don't know everything. But what I do know, I will explain to you. Okay? So, one day, about 2-3 years ago, I appeared here. In this space. Well, not this space, but this space. Whatever. It changes. And on the same day that you appeared, the monster, you hid, and it got me. After suffering what you no doubt now know as eternal torture, I escaped and found you hiding. But that night, when you went to sleep, the monster disappeared. So after that, I did my best to make sure that you stayed asleep. Until that stopped working. Since then, I've just been doing my best to keep it busy. It feeds off your thoughts, you see. It feeds off your conversations. And if it doesn't feed off of that, it feeds off of you. Why should I believe any of this? Also, what the fuck? Did you roofie me? I'm sorry, dude. There was no other way. But you just said there was. There was no other way. Sorry, dude. That was an unfair question. But more to the point, where are we? Fuck if I know, dude. Fuck if I know who I am. Who you are. Sometimes I get the feeling that I'm not even a person. I thought that was called depression, not confusion. Same difference. Look. These questions that you're asking. I've discovered that it's just better for my sanity if I don't ask them. Well, don't ask them over and over again, at least. I've been there. It's not fun. Look, I agree with you. X-Men Origins Wolverine is a bad movie. It's poorly constructed, it's badly paced, and it's aimless and meandering. It's a waste of my time to review. It's barely a movie. Whatever creative spark there was in this movie fizzled out when the Fox executives forced the writers and the producers and the directors to go into production before the script was even written to meet a deadline that they would end up missing anyway. Now you're just reviewing the movie again. Right. I'm sorry. Anyway, it's dumb, and it's stupid, and it's creatively lifeless. But we need to talk about the dumb and the stupid and the creatively lifeless movie, if only to keep that at bay. I know that it's dumb and it's a creatively lifeless pursuit to review a movie whose bones have been picked clean by a dozen other reviewers whose styles and gimmicks we have adopted for our own purposes. But it either feeds on our conversation, or it feeds on us. I don't know about you, but I much prefer the former. And maybe it's pointless, maybe there's no avoiding the inevitable, but I just like a little bit of peace. Maybe if it's only for a little while. Isn't there something more meaningful we can do to distract it? Come up with something, or do something that isn't so hollow, vapid, and pointless? If you've got an idea, I'm more than ready to hear it. We could, no. That wouldn't work. We could, well, no, yes. Either, no, yes, maybe, okay, okay. No, unless you got something. Let's get going.
Time for my favorite part of reviewing X-Men movies, pointing out continuity errors between movies. Number 1. If Stryker, as you see in this movie, Wolverine, murders a general and is later arrested by the military police, why is it that in subsequent films, X2 specifically, he is able to convince the president and the entire military to back his murder scheme where he's gonna kill the entire mutant population of the world? Felony convictions for murder aren't the kind of thing that go away. You can't wipe that off your record.
And number 2. If, as we see in X3, that Magneto and Professor X are still working together at the time that they meet Jean Grey, about 10 years after the events of this movie, at least, then why is Magneto not working with Professor X to save all of these trapped mutants from this evil human? Saving mutants from an evil human is kind of the thing that Magneto lives for. I mean, I know it's on 3 Mile Island, so you'd have to go to Pennsylvania, but I think he'd be okay with it. Plus, he'd be pretty useful against Mute Pool. Hashtag Mute Pool.
If, as we see in X-Men Origins, Sabretooth is not only intelligent, but articulate, and Wolverine's brother, why is it that he's just a feral beast in the first X-Men movie and never has any sort of conversation with Wolverine? Granted, he knows, or you'd assume that he knows, that Logan has lost his memory, but he's still his fucking brother.
Now it's time to nitpick the plot, which makes no sense.
Come on, that's just beating a dead horse. Everybody knows that the plot of this movie makes no sense. What are you doing differently?
What do you want me to say? I really don't have this unique creative insight about this movie that nobody's ever heard of before. we're kind of picking over the bones of what everybody else has already said.
Honestly, watching this movie is just a boring slog. It's not the funny kind of bad or the infuriating kind of bad, unless you really care about the comics, which I don't.
When you finish watching X-Men Origins Wolverine, you almost feel like you hadn't watched it at all. You feel unsatisfied and kind of numb.
There's no drive to this story. And there's no emotional core. There's no focus. There's no agency. There's no plot. There's too much, but there's also not enough. You just don't care. And you slip further and further into a slog of ambivalence and boredom.
Why do I care about anything anymore? Why do we even movie anymore? Can't we just not movie anymore? Can't we just not anything anymore?
And that's the movie's biggest sin. Bigger than any script issue, bigger than any plot hole or any acting choice. This movie just feels lifeless.
Hey David, you know what this movie reminds me of? Warcraft. This movie, as well as Warcraft, feel like the backstory to a much more interesting movie that would come later. With Warcraft, we never got that movie. But with Wolverine, we already got it, and it's called X2, and it's good. We didn't need this movie whatsoever. And at the end of Origins, it's not like we had any interesting character growth or development either. At the end of the film, Logan has done the exact opposite of what is a traditional character arc. Instead of learning something new and growing as a character, he's set backwards. He is now at square one again. He doesn't remember anything. And now this might be tragic if we actually cared about the character or had any involvement in his relationships with Gambit and no personal space mutant lady. Touchy mutant lady.
Watching this movie, you just feel this wave of existential horror climbing over you as you slowly realize that there's nothing to do and existence is meaningless.
Thank you.
Hey, speaking of which, do you think anybody's actually watching this?
How could they? Besides, we don't even know if there is an outside world. You yourself said that you're not even sure if we really exist.
I don't know. I get this feeling that somebody is, or should be, watching us. I mean, after all, what is the point of all of this if there's nobody out there?
That's what I was saying.
I know. But, also, what are we supposed to do?
How should I know? I don't know where I came from. You know better than I do that he'll come for us sooner or later. Look, we just need to start the cycle all over again and draw that poison out at least for a little while. For now, let's just wait a moment and let the dust settle.
Shit. Hello? Is anybody out there? Hello?